Hey Pamela, welcome to When Spirit Talks.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited about our talk today.
I am very excited and I can't wait to hear all about your story
Yeah.
because you are a trance channeler and I know a lot of our viewers are so interested in this. But before we get into that, I want to learn about your story and how you became a spiritual guide and trance channeler.
Yeah, that's a big question, Stephanie. I woke up one day and poof, it was there. No, I'm only joking. Um, I was thinking about my story today because I recently came across someone who invited me to be on a podcast, and they're not spiritual. And so there's so
Mm,
many similarities in how people view, making an energetic conviction or cutting people out of their lives, or it's alignment, it's energy. Like people don't really look at it that way if they're not in that world. And when we start our spiritual awakening journey, oftentimes we're not in that mindset either. We're looking at, maybe some things that our life was created in ways that we really didn't have any control over, like what religion we believed in when we were born, we were brought into something, or just traditions and ways of being and that sort of thing. And when you start to exercise that self power, that energetic conviction of what you believe, what you are in alignment with, what doesn't feel right, what isn't, what you think that you want to bring into the world, you start making decisions. You start breaking down. And I say always poking holes.
yeah.
You're poking holes in the reality of what it is that is your current way of being, living, believing, seeing, acting, all the things. And that's what happened to me. It was, it was very creative, art, music. I always was more connected. I feel now looking back as a 55 and a half year old woman to my older version of myself that was, my young person. She didn't really know. She didn't have a lot of self-empowerment. She was intimidated, by her father, and that male role model that all young women need to have in their life that I really didn't have, that helped create my lack of self-esteem and all those things. I didn't have that really strong energetic conviction inside of me to really feel powerful for a very long time, and when I started gaining those understandings, and I started, using them and flexing the muscle, so to speak, I started watching my life change. And so I just didn't resonate with the religion that I was brought up in anymore. I was looking at it as guilt. I was looking at it as fear. I was looking at it as everything that felt other than like love. And since I was a little girl, I was always very, 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 very connected to Jesus. Like
Mm.
I didn't really question it or understand it then, but I was brought up in Catholicism, and
Me
Jesus
too.
was the man. Like
Yeah.
he was our guy. And but he really truly was my guy, because I didn't understand why, but I would lean on him. I would ask for his help for certain situations, like mundane tasks, like help me wake up. I forgot to put the alarm clock on, and my father's going to be really angry with me in the morning, and you can't wake him up. And like I was responsible for and like Jesus would wake me up at 5 on the dot, like little things like that. And I learned, that there was not just support there, but that was love. And everything that I was taught about my religion felt outside of love.
Mm.
I don't know any other way to explain it other than that. And when I got married and had babies, and I did all the things that we were told to do, like the christenings and the baptism and wearing the dress that my grandmother wore, and, having the party and like doing what everybody thought that you were supposed to do. That's when the breakdown really started happening. And I just said, I can't do this. I don't believe in it. If God is love, then how is God, who is love, going to judge me when I die and tell me I have eternal life or eternal damnation? That's not love. Like there were all these things that didn't fit, that didn't work. And that's how it started. And I said, I mean, I blew some of the minds of my family members, but what does that mean? That means you don't believe that Jesus died for you on the cross to have eternal life. That means that you won't be doing holidays. We're Italian, a
Mm.
lot of tradition there. And I said, I don't know what that means. I believe that Jesus was a spiritual man, that he taught the teachings of love. have a very strong relationship with him, but I don't believe that he had to die for me to have eternal life. I believe that everyone has that gift. And sometimes when I hear myself say that, now I understand it. But then I was like trying to put pieces together, and like that was a huge concept. It really, was like kind of like a big idea. And they were the small things that I started doing. And my father, at that time, like I have all these little buckets that were around me of things that were happening. My father was losing his battle with alcoholism. He had been sober for a while, and then he started drinking again, and he knew he would die if he did, and he really wanted to. And I watched him deteriorate, and I watched me like have new ideas and concepts about him and his struggle that I never did before because I was older. I was in a different decade of my life. I have responsibilities. I understood the pull of alcohol. I understood like all these things. And when he died, he laid there, and I just watched I wasn't energy, I wasn't spiritual, I wasn't all these things yet. I was just piecing things, poking holes. And I remember saying, where did he go? Why is his body still here? This is so weird. His energy centers, like who he is, left. And I remember thinking, I have to understand where I went. Well, the universe, I know now because of where I sit with my energy work and the community that I lead and all of the lives that I'm touching now, he was a catalyst for my waking up. He had contracted to come here, and we all played these roles in my family, and he was the catalyst for me waking up because the universe had big plans for me. And I had already commissioned myself to come here and to do certain things. And so this was the beginning of the plan taking place. My world was changing. My husband had lost his job. It was a recession. We lost everything. Like my world was breaking down. My new world was being realized. I didn't know it. And there was this woman who invited all of our friends, they were my friends at the time, to this spiritual gallery. It was a psychic medium. And I had wanted to go, but everyone was sort of like forgot about me. And I was like, I can't even believe that I said I wanted to go. People thought I was getting a divorce because we lost our home and we lost our finances, and they thought we were getting a divorce. So I was like out of the club of
Mhm.
married people. And so they just didn't consider me. And out of the blue, this woman, my husband was working for at the time, she said, Pamela, I can't go to this psychic medium gallery. The ticket's yours. You don't even have to pay me for it. And if it's yours if you want to go. And I was like, inside, I was like, I want to go. Like, I want to go. But the ticket was paid for, but my husband had been working like every weekend during the recession. And we didn't really have the time, even nothing was flexible. Somehow everything worked out. He said he could stay home. I didn't ask him. He
Mhm.
offered it. I didn't have to worry about the kids being watched. I didn't have to do anything but say yes and show up. And when I went to that gallery, I walked right in, didn't try. I was front and center. And it was a very small group. I'm actually interviewing him on my podcast
That's
next month. I'm so
awesome.
excited to share him with the world. Yeah. I walked in, and he was like, all right, everybody, this is what we're going to do. This is how it works. I'm going to talk to your deceased loved ones. And, sometimes they might come through, and I might say, and he like walks over to me and he goes, for instance, your father died from alcoholism, or it was his liver. And I was like, I was like, someone gobsmacked me. I was like, what? you know? And I was like, yes. And he goes, and he walks over to someone else, or your aunt, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, all right, we're going to get started. Everybody ground, breathe deeply, close your eyes. And he goes, I have to come back over to you. Your father is here. And
Wow.
I mean, it was crazy. And he goes, I was an artist and musician, as I said, and my father, was abusive. He was verbally, he didn't want to be an adult or a parent. He really didn't. And he said, your father's here. He wants you to know how talented you are. Now, I never met this man before. He did not know one thing about me. And he goes, he never told you, but you were so talented. And he goes, he's so sorry for how he treated you. He was terrible to you. And he didn't show you love, and he didn't tell you that he loved you. And um, he wants you to know that he sees you in your life, and he wants to wish that he could have done better. And like all these things. And that was it. That sealed the deal. There was a life
Yeah.
after this death of this meat suit. Like he lived on. Where was he? And that was me wanting to gobble up every single breadcrumb, everything. I wanted to read everything. I wanted to have all the talks. I wanted to go to all the places, you know, watch all the videos. And that was the unraveling and the me being like just wanting everything that I started. I read Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Weiss, and it was about past lives and how we, contract to come back and how we live different lives to learn different soul lessons. That made sense to me. At the same time, I started doing yoga and allowing this breath to alleviate my mind. And I started, making connections in ways I hadn't before. And like, it was just the slow roll of the remembering who I am and understanding more and more and more and more. And I often say, when you're on that journey, then, it's a discovery intellectually, right? But then it turns into a healing journey, but you don't know you're really on a healing journey because suddenly you want to experience different things like Reiki or, yoga nidra, and you want to do meditation and you want to see colors and you want to hear things and you want your dream state to like, you want all the things. And that's what started. It's like I was turning on the button for everything to wake up. And I started hearing that my marriage was over. I started really understanding that the love piece was not what it should be. And I started, I don't know why, I started knowing there was more, that there was more, I was worthy of more, that it was my opportunity to find out what that was. I struggled for like 4 years trying to make everything work, coming back and saying, let's work on this and asking for change and trying to implement change. And it just wasn't. But at the same time, I was feeling this timeline close. Like I was feeling the pressure. I didn't understand it all. And there's moments in our lives like that. There's multiple timelines happening. Every decision that we make is fear or love. We get to make them to learn more about ourselves, to remember ourselves, to expand our spiritual understanding, to heighten our vibration, and to live in a higher state towards love. So we get to, that's why we came here. And when we have those moments where that tunnel or that timeline feels like it's squeezing us, it's because there's an opportunity there for something that's really important. I didn't know it then that all of this was here, but I felt the pull to go in that direction. And it was scary. I didn't know how I would live by myself, support myself, how I would do it all. I had my own business. And at the time, I was pretty much supporting our family. And I thought, well, why wouldn't I just do this? And I remember sitting in the corner of my office in excruciating pain, crying, suffering, feeling the pull, even witnessing myself having that realization from a higher perspective and just knowing I had to do it, taking one step and putting one step in front of the other and just having opportunity for all the things that were there, for love from myself, for love for my future, for love for, my kids that can witness a different kind of relationship. And, a lot of people who aren't awake, who don't understand it, may label it, call it selfish, call it this, that, or the other thing. That's fine. That's your limited perspective. That's your understanding, and everyone's understanding is perfect. But I couldn't live in a space where I knew that there was more because I would suffer either way. I
Mhm.
would suffer if I didn't make the decision for more, for higher, for love, for all the things. And that's one thing I think that people forget to put into the equation because you feel like if I don't do this, if I do this, it's scary. If I do this, I won't have a paycheck. This is where I am right now. If I do this, but if you don't do it, there's the ramifications of it. There's the suffering of why didn't I do it? There's the limit that you put upon yourself. There's so many things. And with that, I gave myself not just the opportunity for a new future, for a new path, for a new timeline, but I also gave myself time, the availability to have more time for myself to discover these things, to dive into who is it that I am, what is the work that I want to do, how do I want to have relationships, friendships, what do I want to do with my time. And I often say, you have a game board of life, and when you're going through these moments, people fall off of that game board. They just don't fit anymore. They're not the right piece. They don't work. And you're okay with that because you're a different piece too. You're
Mhm.
completely different. The game is different. Everything is different. And it's natural and it's okay. And you can mourn those relationships for what they were, but you can also honor them and see the growth in who you are and what you're bringing and realizing and creating. And that happened. A lot of former players left. Some of the players that can't leave, that will always be attached to you, you view them differently, you show up to them differently, you understand them differently. So, Stephanie, these were all the things that were happening simultaneously. And with that, pushing forward to see the opportunity, I started, exploring. I went to a Reiki share and it was kind of amazing because I would never recommend anybody do this. And maybe it's just because I really had to get like a kickstart to they were like, she's got to do this.
Mhm.
But I had all these Reiki people working on me at the same time. And suddenly I had this huge heart opening and I was howling and crying. And this woman ran over to me and said, "You're an empath. Do you know you're an empath?" And I was like, I don't even know what an empath was at that time. I really didn't. And it makes you want to gobble up more. It makes you want to discover more. It makes you want to read this, do this, have a session here, explore this workshop. And that's what I was doing. And I was meeting all the right people. And I started hearing, I started having visions. I started hearing from my deceased loved ones. I started really understanding the law of attraction and manifestation station in big, big ways where I would sit and put my pulse and frequency out without attachments. And I would ask for things to happen, like the sale of my house, a fast closing as is, all the things. And in less than 24 hours, I received that. And I started really being able to see, holy moly, this is a whole new way of being. And through that, my frequency was raising, my vibration was shifting. I was aligning to more purposeful relationships, more purposeful work, and all the things. And I won't get into all the details because I have 100 million stories of alignment, and it's incredible. Um, Through me saying yes to a series of things, I was doing work with this company, and this woman said to me, we'd love for you to come down to this symposium in Florida." And I walked in, and the owner was there, and I had been working on his marketing, but I never met him or had a call with him or anything. I walked right up to him and I said, "Oh my God, hi, I'm Pamela. It's so nice to meet you in person. I feel like I know you." And he turned and he looked at me, and this energy shot through both of our heads, went out our hearts, and this started. And he looked at me and he said, "Do you feel that?" And I said, "I do." And I was like so struck, I couldn't even look at him in his eyes. Through that, we became friends. Through that, this whole thing happened where he invited me to go to Rhythmia. He was a part of a group, it was a private group. They were shutting the place down. One of the guys in his group was on the board there. And he said, I didn't have to figure out how to get there. The universe placed, like, picked me up and put me into this group of 40 high conscious people who had already been working on their vibration, who had already been doing the work. And I did all of this clearing, all of this past life trauma releasing, all of this life releasing, understanding. Um, that by the end of that week long journey, we did a breathwork class, and I was resonating so high. My frequency was so high that this white light came through my third eye, filled my whole body up. I was vibrating and shaking. I lost my breath, and it's zzz in the back of my head. And I felt love in its entirety. And I heard everything from this moment forward has shifted. Your psychic abilities have been enhanced. Everything from this moment forward will be different. And that's what happened. I came home in November of 2019. A few months later, the pandemic happened. I kept hearing, sit down, sit with intention, collaborate again with this force, this energy, this this healing journey, this collaboration, and say, I want to continue doing that. And I did. And that's what I tell the people and the clients that I work with in my community. If you sit with an open heart, that's a conviction. It's an authentic conviction without attachment. Say, I want to co-create. I want to do more of what we did. I have no attachments. I am here. Let's work together. And that's what I did day after day after day after day for months, working with these high frequency collective group of feminine energies came in first. And when they came in, they were so buoyant and loving. I knew there was deep soul healing that was about to happen. So I would go through a past life death again. And I did it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I would experience the death, have to go through the energy part of it, the physicality part of it. I would release it. I would release the emotion around it. And I kept heightening my frequency. And as I did that, my vibration kept raising, where I was able to, I didn't know it was the council then. And there were other beings. There were all kinds of beings from different dimensions and frequencies. I used to call myself a galactic hotel because I didn't even know what to call it. And I was doing it all myself. I didn't learn this from anyone. I did it in tandem with what I now know is my higher aspect of myself, which is a part of the council. And, but I sat knowing I felt safe. I felt protected. I felt like this, I just knew. And people say, weren't you scared? Yes, there was a part of me that was scared, but there was also a part of me that knew this was the journey because of all of the realizations that I had to get here now, there now, and to get here now too. But
Mhm.
I just continued to connect and to trust and to honor and to, I was scared. There were moments where I was very scared, and I really only had like two people that I could kind of reach out to. But there was a moment when the council came in and I was able to heighten my frequency and they were able to lower theirs to this moment of I felt and heard this light language coming down like a swirling little ring, like a vine, like a little lightning vine. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, it went right in me. And I started hearing myself. I have it recorded and noted, and I drew all the visions I had. And I heard, and it was like this language started. And then I had all these languages downloaded into me, and I didn't know why until recently because I'm doing these light code DNA activations, this deep, deep, deep soul healing. And in 2020, when all of this was happening in the middle of the night, I woke up and I heard spirit calling. Spirit calling. I got up and I wrote the name down. In the morning, I bought the URL, I bought the domain, forgot about it. Over the course of a year of doing all these things, I was just telling you, I kept hearing, you need to build a portal. You need to have a safe place for people to land. There's going to be a glass ceiling that breaks, and people are going to stop in their tracks. They're not going to know who and what they are, what they've believed their world to be, and they need a safe place to land. And I was like, a portal? What the hell is that? I build websites. Like, what is a portal? And I had just merged an 18-year-old business into a brand new business with a client, which is now 8 years old. And I was like, no, are you kidding me? I just ran two companies and now I'm doing this. I'm in build mode. I can't do this. And a whole year, I kept hearing it. And at the end of the year, you need to build the portal. You need to build the portal. I mean, it's persistently annoying. And I said, fine, fine. Send me the people, send me the money, send me the things. I am your humble servant. I will do it. And this woman out of the blue came from my community who was a Reiki master. We worked on a marketing project. At the end of her project, she said, can you stay on the phone? I need to talk to you about something. I received a download where to work on a different project. It's a portal, it's a platform for people. And like, they sent her in to help me keep carrying this thing long. And that's where we are now. The platform launched in January of 2024. The council, people, I didn't really get into it, but when I channeled and when I had to align with them, they're super high frequency. They're very powerful beings. So for me to be able to integrate their energy with my physicality, to align with them, to allow them to manipulate my voice box and my mouth and my tongue and all my things. It's still not 100% where it needs to be, and it will be, and I trust that, and I know that. But I sit in reverence and understanding that it is a union, it is a relationship. But it took me until this year to really understand through the guidance that they are loving parents, but they're also they're my clan, they're my people. I am them, they are me. We are a we is what they say to me all the time. And there's no separation between us. I am incarnate aspect. My higher aspect is there, and this is my three-dimensional aspect now. And I recently just had a walk-in happen the last week. So it's like we're merging now because this 1 year that's coming, it's go time. So whether you're serving in your spiritual work and space, or whether you are really looking at your life, doesn't matter what you do. It matters that you honor the intuition, the higher guidance that you're getting from yourself. So if there are relationships that aren't serving you, it's time to end them. If there's work that's not serving you, it's time to end it. If there's habits, ways of being that aren't serving you and they nag on you and they call on you and they tell you and you know it, it's time to honor them. This is the year of creation. This is absolutely the beginning of a new cycle, but this year is creating things you've never created before. You don't even know what they are. And how amazing is that? That's a wonderful frequency to sit in.
That is. And your story is so powerful, like everything. And I want to see if I remember what I wanted to say because there were a few things. The first thing was
I talked the whole time.
the fact that your father was a catalyst in life, but
Yeah.
also after he passed.
Hmm.
And that was the first thing. The second thing was the fact that the frequency of love was like surrounding you whole
Yeah.
this entire time. The third thing was I kept getting a download when you were talking about circles.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there's something about circles that's super important or relative to you, either past, present, or future. So pay
It
attention to
is.
the circles.
Yeah.
But it was just a really powerful story. And the thing I love about it is that you talked about it not being just like you woke up and poof, that was it.
Right.
You spoke about the time that it took and the
Hmm.
patience that it took and the practice that it took.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's when we get the biggest transformation is when we work through it. And obviously it's not always easy and sometimes it is,
Hmm.
but things take time. And I feel like when you're able to sit back and trust that things are going to happen just like you were saying, I feel like that's when the ball starts rolling
Yeah.
and that's like when the circle is completed. So,
Totally. I love the circles because you tapped into something that's absolutely very relevant for me. It's there. What I've been told for this whole journey I just talked about are the circles. And there's all
amazing.
of these extending circles and it continues to ripple out. And that's with
Yeah, I just got
everything.
chills. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so
I'm
cool.
like, I need to remember circles. And like when
Yeah.
you get the downloads, they like come in and they leave and then you
Hmm.
barely remember. And I
Hmm.
was like, I have to remember to tell her the
Good
circles.
job.
So
One
it's
thing,
like,
one thing I think is really important, and you touched on it, and I didn't say it, but I always do, is I forgave my father.
mm,
Forgiveness is huge. If there's someone listening now that's holding resentment, that has this way of being, and it's hurting you. It's hurting you ultimately because it's all about you.
yeah,
It's really not about them. It's about you. And you need to really look at that. If you're working in this 1 year, let go of those resentments and forgive. Allow forgiveness to permeate everything in your life.
yeah.
Somebody needs to hear that.
That's an important message. It really
Yeah.
is. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what trance channeling is, like
Yeah.
if someone off the street was like, "What is trance channeling?"
Hmm.
How would you define it to them
Yeah.
in
Good
a
question.
simple way? Yeah.
Yeah. Good question. So let's see if I can do this in a simple way. So we all live in this three-dimensional reality. What does that mean? We're 3D. So we have this, we're in a dense reality. Um, the beings that I channel are in a higher frequency, they're in a different dimension. So a higher dimension. So their vibration is higher. They vibrate at a higher frequency. I am able to, because of the soul work that I just told you about,
Hmm.
I was able to heighten my vibration. My every living being has a frequency. Everything resonates with a frequency. It has a sound, it has a color, it has a tone. And these beings, they're able to access me. I'm able to put my consciousness kind of to the side. And through working together many, 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 many times, and we are still working together, they're able to use my body as a vessel, to use my vocal cords, to use my language, to use my intellect and understanding and all the things I know about words and concepts. They're able to intuit me, which means download into me, which means enter into me, and use me as a vessel to and conduit to help these words come out, their lessons come out, their teachings come out, their personality come out. And basically it's transferring energy, it's transferring information, it's transferring knowledge. And if you've ever seen, a lot of people have seen Abraham Hicks,
Hmm.
Esther Hicks, sorry, Abraham doesn't have last name. That's so funny. Esther Hicks channels a collective group of beings called Abraham. They were the first beings that I ever saw channeled. And she teaches about the law of attraction and manifestation. And she teaches about frequency. But you know, channeling is a very common thing. People just don't know that they do it. So I'm not doing anything that everyone else can't do. We all have our chakras, we all have our clairsenses, we all have our pineal gland, we all have, these things that are available to us. I've just worked on them more, and I've turned them on, and I've allowed myself to work with them. But as an artist, musician, singer, painter, drawer, I can speak firsthand to it. I have channeled in the past. I didn't know I was. So when I was in a state, and you can relate to this if you play an instrument or if you painted or if you're a speaker or you're a writer. When you're in a state of flow, and so anyone who's played an instrument before, when you're just in the music and you're playing it, it's free flowing. Your brain is just on autopilot and it's happening because you are tapping into that creative energy and it's your channel. You're channeling. As
Mm.
soon as you start thinking about it, that's when miss the notes, or that's when you lose the inspiration for the book, and you can't paint, and it's all wrong. So channeling is you've seen motivational speakers, you've seen, popular musicians and artists. When they're in that space, they're channeling. So I hope that explains
Yeah,
it.
it makes sense. It's like what came to me when you were speaking was you are the channel that is literally transferring the information from above to
Yeah.
the present.
Yes.
So yeah. And are there any misconceptions about trance
Yes.
channeling?
Yeah. Great questions.
Yeah.
So I was asked last year to go on the Sean Kelly Digital Social Hour podcast. It's a very secular, for lack of a better term, podcast. It's like a top podcast in the world. And he is a very nice young man. We've become friends, but he has me pinned to the top of his Instagram page a year later because it gets so much interaction. Because it's a clickbait thing, because it engages people, and I've gotten a lot of followers in a good way from it. So the people who need to see me and hear the message from the council will, and the other people won't.
Mhm.
People think that I am allowing any old demonic energy into my body, and I'm just free flowing, acting like a freaky demonic and satanic person.
Hmm.
I mean, these are the comments that I see.
Hmm.
People have so many different reactions. People think that I am possessed by energies. People think that I am evil. At first it was very hard for me. This is all part of the
I was going to
courage
say it's a
process
tie
thing.
in from your religion growing up too. I grew up Catholic too, so I
Yeah.
totally get it. But there's that
Yeah.
tie in, that lesson that you're
Totally.
learning or learned.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that stuff exists.
Hmm.
And I can tell you that I've experienced it. So I know that it exists. I had to experience the whole entire
Circle
not
again.
ecosystem, but all of it, right? I had to experience the highs, which I do, and the lows. There's no other way to learn. You have to have the contrast.
Yeah.
Um, but I do not like, I've learned I had to go through that. He was a pivotal part of my journey because I had to go through that to not give a beep
Yeah.
about what anybody thinks about me. It was a weekend of suffering like a mother. And I was like, what have I done? Everyone's going to see it. Oh my God. Like it was so hard,
Yeah.
but it was like my coming out in a big way to understand the right people see me, the wrong people will, and they won't. Like, this is what it is. And I literally don't care what anyone thinks anymore,
Well, it's
ever.
a beautiful testament to just showing up authentically as who you
Yeah.
are, regardless of
Yeah.
what others say. So that's a
Yes.
beautiful thing. Now, before we get into the spirit segment, I wanted to know if you'd be able to channel a short
Yes.
message
Yes.
from the council. Okay,
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm ready.
Okay, so something new that's been happening now is I'm not moving completely out of channeling,
Uh-huh.
but I am moving and I'm being groomed and downloaded. I am having this higher aspect of myself merge with me. I'm getting new technology inserted and implanted in me. I'm in a new phase, which is really cool. I've always been told I'll be doing instantaneous healing. I always took that and was like, what? But it's just like everything else. I'm trusting, right? So when the new technology comes in and it's this profound experience and I watch it happening real time, I get to experience and share it with my community members, and people are having, experiences and healing and their lives are changing. I trust and honor the path. It's no different than anything else I just said in the previous part of the story.
Hmm.
I'm in a new season of the story. The higher aspect of myself, which is part of the council, who was commissioned a different time and space to come here now to do this work, I honor that now. I change my bio to reflect that now. It's an expanding journey. Everyone is able to do what I am doing. Everyone has their own contract to do whatever it is that they're supposed to do. The whole reason I'm telling you this is because the channeling comes, but then because the phrase "no child left behind," that whole thing, it's like they want everyone to get on board with their frequency. They want everyone to stop messing around, to change their behaviors, to work on their frequency. And they're sending down this DNA like code activation, this deep soul healing. So I'm doing this healing stuff now. I can't control it. They'll talk, but then this stuff comes out. And if you're cool with that, I'll allow it. If you're not, I'll stop when I hear it. But it's to benefit you and your community. So everyone who's listening, open your heart, allow it to come through. It's
Yeah.
going to heighten your frequency. It's going to heal your soul body. It's going to alleviate karmic ties, activate light codes. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay. I'll just let a message come out. If that is
Perfect.
everything okay
Whatever
with
we
you?
need to
All
know.
right. Yes, we are here. We are here. We are happy to be here. Yes, indeed. We are here. Yes, this is a very special time on your planet. Dear ones, allow yourself the gift to see who you truly are. Omnipotent, beautiful beings of light, positioned in your three-dimensional reality for all the experiences that lie before you, to enhance your frequency, to heighten your frequency, to bring more love into your experience as a whole. We ask you now, as we desire for your experience to increase for the next year that is to come, glorious year indeed. New advancements in technology, new advancements in the world as a whole, new experiences for you to realize who you are, which is a part of all that is. We ask you to not be fearful if there are events on your planet which are to come. We ask you to look at the events as a whole, understanding your position and part in your world, for you are not alone on your planet Earth. You're a part of all that is vast and beautiful, omniverse, filled with decisions, opportunities, experiences for you to grow. We are here now with your collaborator, Pamela, here, that's with you sharing these messages as we have been discussing with you previously in your conversation. She is here now to amplify the frequency that exists within your body. Your soul body that houses and is the motherboard of your body and your three-dimensional reality. To ask you now to open your heart as we administer this light language, this code, this clearing energetic frequency to help amplify your soul body and your position as a whole. Expanding the body out now. Putting it in. In the solar plexus and the root chakra. The sacrals, yes. Putting energy in. Expanding it out. The encasement upon your body, yes. Expanding it out. okay, they're talking to me as I'm doing this, and they're saying that we've administered it and that it is complete. It is enough for today. They crack me up. They're so funny. They really are funny. I mean, you have to understand, like, we're together all the time, and um, they can be cheeky. I have a mastermind that I lead every month. People,
Mhm.
are part of the mastermind, and we do this, and we have just messages and lessons and teachings, and I channel live, and they're very cheeky and funny with some of the members because they know them, and they have a personality.
That's amazing. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that. Now, do
you're
you get
welcome.
exhausted when you're done, or is
No,
it
I get
no, you don't get
energized.
depleted, you get
Yeah,
energized?
yeah. It's funny because every month, right before the mastermind, I always have, it's the last Thursday of the month, I always have a very busy Wednesday or a crazy Thursday where I had to drive an hour and do it. And I'm always like, how am I going to show up? And somehow I come out of it and I can't even sleep that night because I'm so filled with energy. It's really cool.
Well, you know what's interesting? Because even for me, I feel like I could have like no sessions, right? And then the moment I'm exhausted or I have a lot going on, it's like bing, 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 bing. You have
Hmm.
so much to do. And
Hmm.
I swear it's because, right, you're like connecting with this beautiful high vibrational frequency where you are also receiving as you're
Yeah,
delivering it. And so it's almost like the universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is like, you need this right now.
yeah,
Like you yourself need this, and we are bringing the people who also need it to you so you can, both together
totally.
heal and move. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that
You're
message. I appreciate
welcome.
it. And
You're
now we're going to
welcome.
dive into the spirit segment.
Okay.
Okay. So what is one thing you always include in your daily routine that keeps you balanced and grounded that might help others do the same?
Oh, it's so interesting. I'm really working on this because I've been running two businesses and sometimes I find it hard. But I have my sound healings that we create a custom sound healing for our community every month. I have the bank of them. I always put them on.
Mm,
Even if I'm working in my whatever business it is, if I have that on, it's like calibrating me, it's grounding me, or whatever it is. Because if I'm having, if I'm dealing with sorrow or pain or ungroundedness or whatever, they are such an amazing tool. So I do listen to those, put them on as background, but intentionally listen to them too. And then what I'm trying to do more, and I want everyone else to try and do more too, is we're a hamster wheel, this cycle of go, 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 go. I created my ideal day, week, month for 2026 moving on, and I'm going to honor it like a bad boy.
that's
I'm
a
not
great
allowing
idea.
myself to fall into this working, 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 and not putting myself for it. I really want to work on my body strength
Mhm.
and my nutrition and give myself the time to honor this vessel that needs to do this work. So right now, that's where I am.
I love that. And what
Yeah.
is your favorite story regarding your connection to spirit?
Um, I think that, the moments of magic where you just, I'm just like you guys. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm a beloved, I'm a business owner, I'm all these things. And I can get frustrated. I can, feel disempowered, all the things. But when spirit just gives me the unexpected surprise, connection, wonderfulness out of nowhere, I just love it because it's the moment of like we are seen,
Mm,
like we are seen. We are so loved. Sometimes I feel more loved in and with them than anything else in my life.
yeah.
It's incredible.
It's so
Um,
true. It's so true when you
yeah.
get when you're just going throughout the day or you just, you're thinking about something and then just poof, something pops
Mhm.
up that reminds you you're not alone.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
like for instance, and anyone who's listening, it doesn't matter where you are on your journey. And I love
Hmm.
speaking to people like this because someone's going to receive this. I'm on my journey because I've been doing it all these years, right? And if you're just
Hmm.
starting your journey, it doesn't matter. It's still all is important and it's relevant to you. If you feel a pull or a call, if you feel your spirit calling, if you feel it, like allow it to come through because you don't know what magic's going to be on the other side of that. That might just mean turning right instead of left. That might just mean saying, I don't know what's going to happen when I go to that thing. I don't know if I want to go. I'm tired. Just freaking go. Like you feel pulled to reach out to the person at the supermarket that's in front of you because there's something that you're hearing, do it. Like
Mm,
put yourself in those positions. Because most recently, my soul path coaching, I didn't know what I was going to do. My mastermind, I didn't know. I was told. I've never done it. I've never done it before, but I was told to do it. And I listened and I put them out and I said, who is going to want to do this with me? They all sold out. And
amazing.
it affected it real time. I did it. And at the end of the first cohort of them, I kept on hearing, this is turning into a business thing. I didn't know I'm going to do business coaching. So I talked about it when I was on the call and it manifested right then and there. You don't know.
Yeah,
You don't know what's going to happen. So
right.
allow yourself to just dive into that unknown wonderfulness. Take a dive, do the backstroke, allow it. Like what's the worst? What's the worst you do? You feel foolish? So what? You forget
Yeah.
about it tomorrow.
Yeah. It's like a small moment can change your destiny. It really
Absolutely.
can.
I could tell you 100,000 stories about it.
Amazing. Now, what is one final piece of advice you have for listeners who are trying to improve their spiritual well-being?
Ooh, that's such a good one. I'll give you what the council tells
Okay.
me. And if you're trying to improve your spiritual well-being, if you're trying to, and you see someone like me sharing their story and it inspires you and you don't know where to start and you don't really understand it all, the council says, think about your heighten your frequency. That's all you need to do. It's so simple. You need to work on your frequency. If you don't know how to do that, here's an exercise. Think about a really, really happy, happy time in your childhood. Close your eyes and think about it. Make your body feel it. Tap into the memory. Oh my God, it feels vast, wonderful. I feel love. The tingles on my head, on the back of my shoulders, all of it. Give that a number from 1 to 10, with the highest being 10. It's a 10. Now think about a moment in your childhood that was very, very scary, fearful. How does that feel? Feel it in your body. Coward, restricting, small, fear. That's a 1. Now go through your day, just one day, and give everything you're doing a number. What's that day look like for you? Improve the number. Take it one day at a time and improve the number. Improve the number. Make changes. Do you need to be scrolling? Nah. Do you need to be commenting? Probably not. What do you really need to be inserting yourself into? Raise your frequency. Who is really in your life that's not serving you? You feel obligated to, you put up with them, you feel this guilt. Start changing that. Look at the players, the pieces around you. What is the food you're eating? What are you consuming? Is it 10? Is it 1? Start making everything have a higher number and then watch your life start to improve. Watch things start to shift and then the game board starts and then da 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 and then it just goes from there.
That's a great tip. I like the concrete number, right?
Yeah.
Like you can quantify it by
Hmm.
using those numbers. So that's amazing. I
They
love it.
channeled it out one day. I was working on something else and it just this whole exercise to do in my mastermind. It was like,
Yeah, I
oh my
like
God.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. And where can our listeners go to learn more about you?
Thank you for asking. So the platform I was just telling you about is spirit-calling.com. There's a couple different things I want everyone to know. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey, you are welcome there. There's people that have been on their journey for a long time. There's people who have just started. It's a 7-day free trial. Come in, look under the hood. There are people waiting to greet you, to learn about you, to support you. There are weekly events and gatherings where we talk and we hang out. And there's monthly events that I lead. It's really cool. Then I do a mastermind. So if you are maybe a little more elevated, you had some experiences, you want to do a little bit more. There's a monthly mastermind. It's the last Thursday of the month. It's a container I created with the council, and we do live channelings, lessons, Q&A. You actually have extreme growth inside of that container because the people in there are holding a frequency and you are aligning with them, and it's beautiful. And you can find that on the website. And then I do soul path coaching. It's for people who want even more, that want to make changes. They're feeling pulled. Everyone says, I want to know what my soul's purpose is. And the council gets cheeky and says, yeah, you want to know what your soul's purpose is? We got healing to do. Let's do some channel guidance. Let's do some soul activation and clearing. We do karmic clearing. Ancestors come in. It's incredible. And in 3 months, people's lives change. So there's like all these ways on that platform. But then go to my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spirit Calling Pamela. I do updates, energy updates. I have visions that I share. I haven't shared one in a long time, and I just had a vision 2 days ago. So I'm about to share it. I only do it when I feel called. I don't do it for algorithms or clicks or likes. I do it when, so my subscribers go up and down like this, but
Mhm.
it's what it is. And I share a lot of the monthly channel messages that are inside of the community. There's so much there. So go to Spirit Calling Pamela. And I am going to be at the Cosmic Truth Summit. You can go sign up on my website, on my email, and you'll get information about that. That's a week-long event. Aaron Abke is going to be there. A whole bunch of other people are going to be there. And then I'm just signing on to do another event in a couple of months. So there's lots of things happening. And I have a podcast. It's called Live the Call, where I interview people like you and other people who have heard, they've answered, and they're living it. So there's lots of
Beautiful.
things. Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
sharing.
You're
Now, before we
welcome.
go, I pulled your card, and when it popped out, I was like, "Ugh." And I had, right, just intuitively, I knew what it meant. But as you were speaking throughout this whole entire thing, and I'm not going to remember the exact phrasing used because it just clicked so many times, but I'm going to show you the card first, and then I'm going to explain it, and then the messages for everyone else will be at the end. So
Okay.
you got the Three of Swords, but it's not your typical Three of Swords. Although when you were speaking, there was a moment of when you were talking about the event, the mediumship event, where you were going and your friends kind of left you out,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
is like the typical meaning of this,
Okay.
like that truth that just hurts your heart and you could become aware of it. But that was only when you started talking. What I felt and what I thought was your body is this hourglass. Just like you said, your body, I don't even know if you might have used the word hourglass or, your body is the channel. And
Hmm.
your counsel is
Yeah.
smashing through your crown to
Oh, wow.
give you those downloads.
Yeah.
They are crashing through to make you one. Like you are literally
Yeah.
one with them, but you are the grounded. You are the
Yeah.
3D. They are the higher dimension. And
Totally.
so you are getting all of these truths from them, and you are then imparting that truth to like everyone you work with.
It's
So
so
when I saw
cool.
it, I was like, this is beautiful. But I think at one point you also said something about breaking through a glass ceiling when you were talking.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I think
Ooh,
you
I did.
mentioned breaking through a glass ceiling, and look,
Yes, I
it's
did.
literally breaking through the
Wow.
glass ceiling.
That's so interesting.
So,
It means a lot to me too, because this integration of my council aspect is happening like real
mhm.
time. There was an initiation that happened today, and there was something that happened 2 days ago. And so it's like we're merging in the 3D. It's cool.
Yeah,
So that
it's cool.
means a
And
lot
it's
to
like
me.
all of those,
Hmm.
the other thing you mentioned too, were all of the difficult circumstances you went through, like the divorce, everything with your father. It was like you were just shattered at different points in your life, but that has caused this to come in and come
Yeah, that's
together.
so
So,
cool.
so
Thank
cool.
you.
And the
Yeah.
message for everyone else is there is a deeper truth right now that you might not be aware of. So, whatever happens, whatever you go through, whatever's coming up for you,
Mm,
take it, stay grounded, stay focused, and just know that it is for your highest good and the truth will set you free.
mm,
So, Pamela,
perfect.
thank you for joining. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for sharing the message. It was so lovely to have you.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And I really enjoyed our conversation and meeting you too.